I think all the studies show that actually doesn't really work. It doesn't actually stop crime. But what it does, I think, is, it creates a society where we're constantly think it's okay to have surveillance, with our phones, with everything. That we're in the. I think George Orwell would be turning in his grave if he could see the society we're living in and the level of the lack of privacy that we have, and this culture that suggests that, oh, but I'm not doing anything bad, therefore I don't mind that surveillance is everywhere because I'm a good citizen. And that also forgets the history of struggles, that because if the extreme right starts rising across Europe, which could well do, there's going to be a need for forms of resistance against the extreme right. There's a need for a resistance against climate right now, and all these forms of surveillance are not going to be used against people stealing from banks. They're going to be used against people resisting and protesting, and they are already. I can't. My passport. I'm on a terrorist list, and so if I go through passport checks, my passport always stops me. I can't get through this check,
You're
and then
on a terrorist?
and I have to then be, But there are some very quite creative forms that artists and activists are using to get beyond surveillance. In Hong Kong, the Hong Kong uprising is super interesting. A friend of mine from Hong Kong said, we need to be looking at this uprising because actually this uprising in Hong Kong is an uprising of the future. And why were they in Hong Kong destroying the CCTV cameras? They were destroying CCTV cameras because all the CCTV cameras are having increasingly facial recognition software. And in China right now, in the cities, there are these concentration camp cities for the Muslim minorities, millions of people living in these cities, which are entirely based on cameras and surveillance of phones and facial recognition. And that's a possible dystopian future, that if, the smart city is not a smart city, it's a city of total surveillance. Even in airports now, they have these systems where they look at your movements through the airport, and anyone who doesn't move in a normal way is looked at.